Man, what I've learned through this life is adversity and opposition is coming for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter who you are, how much money you make,
Yep.
you know, how many accolades you got,
Yep.
it's gonna come.
It's gonna come.
And you're never prepared, you know? So I just think it's about how you fight through the fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? How you can come out on top, you know, later down the journey, later down the process, you know? So just enjoying the process and understanding what it is and, you know, being grateful for your opportunity, bro.
Yo, what's up? I'm your host, Baron Davis, and this is Raiders Talk of the Nation. And guess what? I'm here with a multi-hyphenate student of the game. That's right, your safety, your linebacker, wherever you need him to be.
Yeah.
Mr. Football, Jamal Adams, ladies and gentlemen.
Respect.
Man, tell me about Texas, man, growing up in Dallas.
Yeah, man, it was a great time, bro. You know, obviously, you know, living in Texas is football country, you know what I mean? So, like, obviously, you know, being back home and growing up in that Monday through Sunday, man, it was just straight football as a kid, you know? And, you know, obviously watching Saturday night football, and then you go into Sunday, you watching all the NFL games, and then to Monday, you know, after school. So it was football year round for me, man.
When did you realize, hey, this is for me?
You know, I started playing football at age 3. You know what I mean? So, like, my first two years was kind of just running around, just chasing butterflies, not really understanding what's going on.
Yep.
I don't remember, but my mom tells me all the time is like my first big play, you know, as a kid, and I ran the wrong way, and then they were telling me in the stands to go the opposite way, and then I ran all the way around, and I took it, you know, to the end zone, I took it to the house anyway, you know what I mean? So that was pretty cool, you know, to know, you know, as I got older and hearing the stories. But man, we were always traveling to Houston playing the top teams. We were traveling to Oklahoma playing the top teams. You know, it was a year-round thing, man. Spring football, growing up, and you know, obviously just being from back home. You know, you obviously had to play football.
Yeah.
You know, if you wasn't playing football, you were hooping or you were running track. So that was just the religion we had.
And you come from football lineage.
Yeah.
A 54-yard touchdown run by George Adams.
So, like, talk about that, just, you know, growing up, you know, having a pops, NFL vet. Like, you know, it's almost like
it was cool.
I love it because when you see the kid is so close to, you know, all of the great juju, you know what I mean?
100%.
All the great wisdom. Talk about that, just being a kid in the sport.
Well, man, I mean, first off, I mean, you know, it's just a blessing to have a father figure, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially just growing up, you know, as a black man, just having that father figure. So I'm very fortunate and blessed, man.
Yep. Shout out to Pops.
Yeah, shout out to Pops, man. That's my best friend, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But he was hard on me, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he was really hard. You know, obviously, his career got cut short due to injury, you know what I mean? Broke his hip. You know, back in 86, 85, you know, in the 80s, you know, surgery wasn't, you know, the best.
Surgery was some butter knives.
Yeah. They just cutting into you. So,
totally.
You know, obviously, you know, growing up and kind of knowing, you know, what he kind of went through.
Yeah.
You know, he still suffers to this day, just walking, you know, with a limp. You know what I mean? And he's fought that my whole life. So that's kind of all I've known. You know what I mean? 2 different hip replacements, man, day in, day out. 8-hour surgeries and stuff like that, just understanding what he went through.
Yeah.
As a kid, you know, as I get older in the game, I obviously, you know, the injuries I've had, I understand and respect what he went through, you know what I mean? But he was hard on me, man. You know, he always pushed me to, you know, different limits, and he always, you know, made sure that I worked hard. Like, it wasn't a day we didn't work, you know what I mean? It was like, if this is your goal, and this is where you want to be, you got to work day in, day out. So that was the grind for me as a kid.
I like that, man. I when I think of you, I always think of resilience.
Respect.
Right? Similar to myself, it's like this injury, I'm going to play, but then ultimately I'm going to get injured.
100%.
But I'm going to come back. And
100%.
I think, you know, one, is so great having you, you know, with the nation this year, because I think who you are, right, is important to your journey and your story, right? And then having the opportunity to revamp.
No doubt,
right?
bro.
Talk about that, just like the love for the game and like, you know, the message of never quit, and like what is it that drive you?
Yeah, man. Man, it was a long journey, bro. You know, obviously you go into the game, you know, man, I've been playing since, like I said, I started at age 3, you know what I mean? And I ain't really have no major injuries. You know, I was blessed, man. You know, in high school, I tore my labrum in my shoulder. You know, that was my first kind of major injury, should you say. And, that happened my sophomore year going into, spring football.
Yep.
And hit a running back and my shoulder popped out and I didn't really understand what was going on, but I knew something was wrong. Had to get surgery, fought back from that and, played football my sophomore year. But, man, after going through my injury, especially my knee injury in 22, Monday Night Football, Russ is coming back in town, man. He playing the Broncos. It's big time. It's in Seattle. It's going down. You know what I'm saying? I was amped up, man. I knew I had, everything right. I was just ready for the season. You know what I mean? Like, you just know going into the season.
Absolutely.
And, man, just doing a routine blitz play, man, and coming around the corner and tear my knee.
Yeah.
I tore my quad tendon off my kneecap, man. So, when I got up, my knee just kind of buckled.
Got buckled, yeah.
And, obviously just the competitive guy in me, I was just kind of like in shock, you know what I mean, almost. And I'm like, man, there's no way this kind of happened. So I kind of walk off the field. I managed to walk off the field. How I did that, I don't know. I was in shock, you know what I mean? And I get to the sideline and I never forget, man, my man Quandre Diggs, man, he was like, man, Ma, look at your knee. I looked at my knee, man, and my kneecap was on the side of my leg.
Ooh,
so I was like, man, there's no way, man. It was just a bunch of shock. And then obviously I go under the 10 and, he's trying to, move my leg. And I'm like, man,
it's
no
over.
way, bro. The worst pain ever, you know what I mean? So then I had to get carted off and, man, being carted off, man, you talk about the lowest moment.
Oh, that's the worst feeling.
It's a crushing moment, bro. And
that was my last. That's my last NBA game.
Yeah, it's crushing, bro. It's crushing.
That's my last. I got carted off to a standing ovation.
That's tough, bro. Yeah. And see, like I didn't want to stay on the field. You know what I mean? I was I was trying to get off. Obviously, I was in shock. It was probably one of the lowest moments, man. And then remember getting back to the locker room and my family came down and I'm crying, bro. I'm just devastated, bro, because all the hard work you put in, you know what I mean? And mind you, I just got paid in 2021, highest paid safety, you know what I mean? They traded for me. They sent all the, these picks and stuff like that. So I'm hearing it from the media. I'm hearing it from everybody, So, man, just fighting through that, man. And at first, man, I kind of was hopeless, bro. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I was just like, it is what it is. Like, just kind of had that attitude, like that negative attitude. I was in a dark spot.
Purgatory.
Yeah.
It's really like a purgatory.
It was real,
it's
bro.
Like it
was real.
You hurt. You're hurt.
Yeah.
You sad.
Yeah.
You can't give up.
Yep.
But you can't participate.
Nah.
Right.
And mentally, that was getting me. You know what I'm saying? And I've done it for so long at a high clip.
Right.
You know what I mean? And obviously, just sitting out and knowing that eventually one day I'm gonna get back. I just didn't know when. You know what I'm saying? And that was the hard part. And, when I was going through, sitting down, man, I couldn't even watch football at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, just sitting at home, not being able to be independent, you know what I'm saying? Having to depend on people, man, and not being able to, shower, use the restroom by myself, get out the bed by myself.
Yeah.
I'm in a wheelchair, different lens.
Yep.
It was very humbling, bro. You know what I mean? So anytime I step on the grass nowadays, bro, it's like, man, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Anytime I can walk off the field, I'm grateful. You know what I mean? So it was a blessing in disguise, obviously, mentally for me, just seeing it from a different lens. But when I was going through the process of me being down, man, I got hurt game 1. I sat out the whole year of 22, came back in 23, was playing off one leg.
Yeah.
Knowing I'm on a big contract.
Yeah.
I got to finish. I got to go out there for my boys and fight. I'm taking Toradol nonstop just to fight, you know what I mean? And, man, it was tough. It was a tough 2 to 3 year battle, and I finally, got over the hump. I'm healthy now, man, and
that's
such
a blessing.
It's just staying in the fight, bro.
Yep.
You find out a lot about yourself when you're back against the wall.
All the time. And I think that's why I'm just, a fan of you.
Respect.
Right, because you weren't supposed to come back that early.
Nah.
But I look at you and I see football. I see joy.
Yeah.
I see intellect. I see multi-hyphenate.
Respect.
Personality.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like that get me going.
Yeah.
And now safety to linebacker.
Yeah.
Redefining the spot. I was telling, me and my son were talking about you.
Okay.
And I was saying, as you get older, you evolve.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you've aged like wine. You become an acquired taste, and you have all these specials. You talk about, being willing to accept the transition and making the transition.
Well, man, obviously it was being talked about through the course of 23 to 24. When I was kind of going through my injury and just kind of, playing dime backer at the time in Seattle my last couple of years. And, just having a different role. At first, bro, it was really challenging, coming in and off the field. You know what I'm saying? After being a starter my whole career, you know what I mean? My whole life.
The guy, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm the guy, you know what I'm saying? So, man, it was very humbling, bro, but it sat me down to really understand and be grateful for what any opportunity that's presented for me. And, man, just coming in and off the field was obviously a hard transition, but, man, when I got here, Pete was the only guy that contacted me through the offseason and was like, man, hey, I want you to come try out. I'm like, man, I'll be there.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me what it was going to be, but he was like, man, I want you to come try out. So cool, I come try out, man, and he liked my workout, and he just told me, hey, you're going to be in the linebacker room, so kind of get over it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, bet. It is what it is. It's an opportunity. You know what I mean? Put me anywhere. At this point, I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Put me anywhere. So I'm like, man, I'm grateful, man, whatever. Like, bet. You want me a linebacker? I'm going to master it. So that's what I kind of, that was my mindset, bro. At first, it was like, hey, man, I'm going to miss safety. But, man, they got me doing a little bit of everything, bro. I play everywhere. I'm a football player. I don't really care where you put me. I just want to get on the grass, So that was my mindset, man. And, I just took it and ran with it, man. I'm not going to look back and be like, man, I wish I did this and wish I did that, man. I just embraced the role. Whatever they asked me to do, I'm going to do.
Yeah. And you can see that leadership is just spewing.
Yeah.
Right? And the energy is spewing. Talk about a little bit your relationship with Pete, right?
Yeah.
And how important, second chances are.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Because
big,
you built, you got to think, sometimes we don't give ourselves credit
Facts.
from where we come from.
Facts.
So I got to give you credit where you come from.
Respect.
But talk about now.
Yeah.
Okay, Pete here, you got this relationship. Talk about that.
Yeah, man, it's pretty cool, man. Obviously being traded in 2020 from the Jets, going to Seattle and, learning his culture, learning his system, how he likes to do things. And obviously, towards the end of the Seattle, career, should I say, obviously he is the guy that cut me. You know what I mean? So it motivated me even more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I get here, I get a second chance, and every day it's man, I'm trying to make sure he understands, like,
you ain't cutting me.
You ain't cutting me here. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's been, man. And it's nothing but love to Pete. But obviously he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't healthy. You know what I mean? They just paid me a big contract. So obviously that's business. You got to move on.
You got to move on.
Coming here and coming to Vegas, man, and seeing, when we first got the job, man, I was like, man, I remember coming out here one time and I'm like, man, what if I'm in Vegas to my boy? I'm like, man, that'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy.
So it's full circle moment, you know what I mean? And obviously when he called, it was a no-brainer. So just coming here and seeing how, he teaches his philosophy, teaches how he likes to do things, and showing a whole new group of guys. It's pretty cool to see it from the, back lens. And obviously I understand being in Seattle, the culture he's built, you know what I mean? Because when I came over into Seattle, it was already set in stone. I just had to fall in line.
Yeah.
Now he's teaching it, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm one of the leaders to, give
amazing.
game to others around
absolutely.
Of what goes on and who he is as a coach. And, man, he cares about his players, bro. And for him to give me a second chance, man, that means everything to me and my family. You know what I'm saying?
And you taking full advantage of it. What off the court kind of gave you that relief valve to give yourself the freedom to be what you want to be?
It's a good question, bro. Obviously when I was going through my injury, I had to find different outlets to make me happy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When I got hurt, I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? Like everyday life wasn't gravy. Tough. You know what I mean? It was tough. So I had to find different outlets, man. And, I started to tap into my real estate portfolio, man. I started to tap into different, fashion events or whatever the case may be, and just kind of setting myself up for later. You know what I mean? And obviously I got into fashion a long time ago. Obviously went to LSU and, I always, admire people out there, different athletes, the Westbrooks of the world, you know what I mean? Yeah. And always like, man, when I make it, man, I hope to, have that,
I want
that
my
type of
style
swagger, you know what I mean? And have that behind my name. So obviously, at LSU, man, I couldn't afford it. It wasn't no NIL.
No, for sure.
I remember when Mike and Mary jeans came out, bro, and that was like a big deal, bro. Like if you had some Mike and Mary jeans,
if you can get
you was
those,
that guy. You know what I mean? So when I, obviously through New York, being out there and learning the, the fashion game, learning, the pieces and the different brands that I messed with, it just took it and ran with it, man. I kind of got into dressing, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. I got into dressing, man, for the women. Like I wanted to dress so I can impress women. You know what I mean? I wanted to smell good so I can impress women. That's what it was always. That was my mindset. So just kind of took it and ran with it. And obviously, I kind of remember back when I was with the Jets, man, like 2017, 2018. Cats wasn't really.
No, they weren't doing
the
the
whole dressing
They
up.
weren't coming. They weren't
You know what I
coming.
mean?
Right.
Coming fitted
Yeah.
and whatnot. It was all suits or guys throwing on sweatsuits.
Yeah.
So now just to see the game evolve, it's crazy. But now, like I tell people now, man, I'm not in it to compete with anybody. You know, I'm in my own lane.
How would you describe your style?
Man, I think it's very unique, you know, and it's just based on how I feel. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just looking good and feeling good, man. And obviously, you know, you could put on anything. You just got to have the confidence to rock it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
A lot of people don't have the confidence to really rock, you know, what they put on. But a lot of times I'm trying to be different than the rest. You know, everybody might get on a shoe or get on a clothing brand that everybody's rocking or whatever. The cut, the T-shirt might be a different cut or a short cut. I try to do something different, you know, outside of what everybody wears, you know, because you know, you don't want to look the same. You want to look apart.
No, you definitely. I remember before with the NBA, before we even got into fashion and the rock, like I was one of them dudes that was like, it's a dress code. Guys, we can be creative.
Right.
And like you just see the evolution now. It's like
crazy.
everybody in runway.
Yeah.
Guys have their own brands. Are you thinking about, do you have your own brand or thinking about like, what are you thinking about?
Honestly, bro, a lot of people have asked me over years of like, if I wanted to, you know, create a clothing brand.
You like the style guy.
Yeah,
like on the team, I'm sure they like, you know.
they be trying to ask
call you
gang. They be trying to ask gang. Where you get this at? I'm like, not too much. I can't give you too much. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't really looked into, you know, creating my own brand. I just kind of like, you know, respect all the brands
to
that's
shop.
out there. Yeah, I like to do my own thing. You know,
like
just
to put
kinda
it together.
Put it together, and you know, putting a brand together is tough, man. That's not easy work. You know what I'm saying? And you got to have the right team behind you to really produce the, you know, the fits and the, you know, the put together pieces that you want to, you know, create. So, man, I just try to stay in my own lane and, you know, do what's best for me.
Yeah. What kind of music is like? What's your playlist or who your playlist artist? What's your music vibe?
On game day or just
game
24/7?
Yeah, game day and 24/7.
That's tough, man. I'm all over the place, man. When I say I'm all over the place, man, I'm R&B to rap. You know what I mean? I stay in my lane with those two. I don't go.
What's the game day? What's the
game day, man? It depends.
Is it a mix?
It's a mix of everything, bro. You know, shoot, man. The hottest right now is obviously NBA. You know, he gonna get you to run through a wall real quick. You know what I mean? Young Jeezy, man. You know what I mean? Lil Boosie, Webby. That's you know, kind of what I grew up on. The Meek Mills and the Drakes and the J. Coles. But you know, when it comes to the R&B, man, I had older siblings growing up. So you know, obviously my dad was always
listen to R&B before
games.
when I work out. So I can
work out.
because it's for me, it was like the BPM slower and it's slow and it's like you can move fast, but it's almost like you want to dance or glide.
100%.
You feel me?
And that's, you know, the Jaheems, the Music Soul Childs, you know what I mean? All those type of artists, you know, I like to slow it down. I'll even blast my gospel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, heck yeah.
So I'm all over the place, but man, I like to keep it, you know, real smooth. And obviously, you know, I like storytelling. I like rappers that are gonna speak to you, you know what I mean, to where I can relate to you, you know what I mean? The Jay-Z's, the Coles, the Kendricks, the Drakes of the world. All these people speak to you in different ways, so you can be, you know, inspired.
If you had a basketball lineup of rappers with one sub, you got 6 rappers to put on your team, and that's it. That's
so
it.
Six
you can't
rappers?
listen to nobody else's stuff.
Okay.
So it's your starting 5.
In no order or
in
just...
no order. It's just your starting 5 plus a sub.
Man, I say Jay-Z for sure.
Yep.
Cole.
You get the whole catalog.
Kendrick.
You get the whole catalog.
Drake.
Yep.
For my last 2.
That's tough.
That's tough. I'm gonna throw some R&B people in there, man, for sure. I gotta go with my guy Jaheim, big Jaheim fan. And then if I had to pick my last one, I gotta go Music Soul Child.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
I would
for
say
sure.
Anthony Hamilton, but man,
Music Soul Child got like 4 of them
John
joints.
Legend and like so many. Alicia Keys out there in there, Mary
Alicia
J.
Keys
Blige
got some
out there in
joints.
there, man. It's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, so you like the DJ, the music curator.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Texas football rivals, California.
Yeah.
Football. Now, a lot of people tell me that California
Yo,
the
they got
better
some
players than Texas. Talk about,
I don't know about that.
How do you feel about that statement as far as like Texas football, California football?
Yeah.
I know it's always a great debate.
Right.
I know
Yeah,
you're
it's
going to rock
tough,
with your
bro.
Texas
man,
boys.
you already know I'm going to rock with my Texas boys, man. You already know. So, I mean, obviously there's good football out there, man. Florida, Cali, Louisiana, and Dallas, Texas. So, it's great football, around the world. But, man, I got to roll with my Texas guys, man. I just think that, it starts so early for us out there, and we have to grow to love it even more. And it's just like, it's a religion thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everybody
no, for
knows
sure.
in Texas when it's Friday night.
It's Friday Night
It's
Lights.
Friday Night Lights, bro, around
cranking.
the world. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
So it's
it.
50,000 people in the stands, minimum.
Crazy.
So guys, and gals are going out to the games and having fun, and just the lead up, man, the build up of school, man.
Yeah.
Monday to Thursday. I mean, that's the
the
build up, bro. And then when it's Thursday and it's like pep rallies and it's showtime. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, just growing up there in Texas, man, it was a blessing, man, and it made me love football, to a whole nother level.
If you're young at heart,
Yep.
and you love the game,
Yep.
you never age.
Come on, man.
Right.
on.
And
Yep.
so that's what I'm looking at is young at heart,
Yeah.
young, you back,
Yeah.
you fresh. If you could give yourself
Mm-hmm.
from the time, let's say 2022, this Jay talking to the injured dude,
Yeah.
what is the thing that got you over into this moment? Like, what is the advice that you would give yourself knowing that you were gonna be it?
Just having real patience, bro. I think, at first I wanted everything to kind of happen my way.
Yeah.
But it ain't my journey, bro. It ain't my story, man. It's the man above. You know what I'm saying? So I had to really dive deep with him and understand, like, it's his plans. It's not my plans. You know what I mean? If it was my plans, man, I would still, been out there rocking in 22.
Yeah.
But his plans was to sit me down and to learn. You know what I mean? So for me, the younger me, from 22 to now, man, I would just say just having patience, bro, and just being where your feet are. Being grateful for your opportunity, man.
Yep.
Maximizing any opportunity you get. You know what I mean? So, like I said earlier, man, you find out a lot about yourself when you're back against the wall. You find out what type of person you are. You know what I mean? What type of fighter you are. How you gonna fight through adversity? Because, man, what I've learned through this life is adversity and opposition is coming for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter who you are, how much money you make,
Yep.
how many accolades you got, it's gonna come.
It's gonna come.
And you're never prepared, know? So I just think it's about how you fight through the fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? How you can come out on top, later down the journey, later down the process, So just enjoying the process and understanding what it is and, being grateful for your opportunity, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you,
Yeah,
man.
no
You're the
doubt.
people's champ. You're
Man,
the
I
people's
appreciate
champ.
you, bro.
You're like the epitome of resilience, positivity, and then I'd say like that multi-hyphenate.
Yeah, respect, man.
Student of the game, being able to translate, transfer skills, offer skills. I'm just so happy to have you, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
And thanks for doing this.
No doubt.
Now, before we get out of here, you have to build your ultimate Texas dinner plate.
Oh.
What's going on that plate?
Oh, man, for sure. That brisket sandwich.
Yeah, okay.
All day long, bro. My spot called Hutchins is right by the crib.
Okay.
Brisket, man.
Fire.
What? Knock your
Best
socks off.
barbecue or
It's number
brisket?
two. It's number 2 in Texas, in all of Texas.
Oh,
And
wow.
It's another one all the way in Fort Worth, but I ain't going all the way to Fort Worth. I ain't making that drive. That one right down the street. So that's number 1 for me. You know what I mean? But man, that brisket sandwich, man, for sure. And then cornbread, no doubt. Man, I gotta throw the collard greens on there, man, for sure. And then, man, maybe some just homemade vanilla ice cream, man.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
sir.
Homemade vanilla ice cream.
Yes, sir.
Y'all doing it like that in Texas?
Man, have you in a slump as soon as you get to the crib?
I gotta get out there.
Yeah, man. Gotta throw that mac and cheese on there too.
mac
I
and
forgot
cheese
that mac
gotta-
and
yeah,
cheese.
it gotta
Yes,
have that
sir.
little
Yes,
accent.
sir.
You know
Yes,
what I
sir.
mean? Shout out to you, man, just for
Respect.
for being a consummate pro and the people's champ, right? And your story, I think, is gonna continue
No
to
doubt,
tell
bro.
itself and
No
reveal
doubt.
itself.
No
And
doubt.
I'm just happy to be a witness, man.
I appreciate
thank you
that,
for
bro.
doing this. You know, the nation, we love you,
You already
man. We
know.
love to have
Yep.
you, and we rocking with you 10 toes.
Respect.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, dog.
Thank you, my
yes,
guy.
sir. Yes, sir.
Just win.